Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into the incredibly dynamic career of a true technology leader, Ahmed Hammam. If you've ever wondered what it takes to build a career that doesn't just survive the relentless, hyperspeed pace of technological change, but actually thrives on it, well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to map out an amazing professional journey today, going all the way from the early days of the web straight through to the modern, high-stakes world of global financial architecture.
And honestly, the best place to start is right here with this number, 20. That represents his 20-plus years in the IT field. I mean, think about that for a second. Spending more than 2 decades in tech means you are evolving in lockstep with the industry itself. It means watching fads come and go, seeing entire paradigms shift, and having to constantly adapt to stay at the cutting edge of enterprise software.
So what is the secret to that kind of longevity? It's captured perfectly in his core philosophy. He says, during my professional career, I have learned that it is all about concepts, no matter what is the technology you use to achieve your goal. This really shows us that adapting to the future isn't about just memorizing the syntax of the newest programming language. It's about mastering the underlying concepts, the invisible architecture, rather than getting stuck on fleeting tools.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll be covering the modern payment architect, a philosophy of concepts, the early web days, scaling enterprise, cloud and microservices, and a foundation of mastery. Section 1. The modern payment architect. Let's start right at the top of the mountain with his current responsibilities. Since June of 2022, Ahmed has been the Senior Payments and Cards Manager at Al Rajhi Bank, which is one of the absolute largest banks in the Middle East and a massive global pioneer in money transfers. The crucial thing to understand here is the sheer scale. He's managing the payment software development that handles critical domestic and international remittances. We're talking about direct integration with mammoth networks like Sari RTGS, SWIFT, and Visa. These are essentially the central nervous systems of local and global finance. He's not just in the weeds writing code, he's a subject matter expert overseeing technical governance and managing key vendor relationships to keep these massive ecosystems secure and efficient. Section 2. A philosophy of concepts. But how do you even get to the point of running such vital, zero room for error infrastructure? It all traces back to that fundamental belief we touched on just a minute ago, prioritizing broad architectural concepts over specific, temporary technologies. Whether you're building a fintech marketplace or a telecom portal, the key is deeply understanding software architecture, design phases, and problem-solving patterns. Programming languages will absolutely change over time, but knowing how systems actually communicate, scale, and stay secure, well, that's what makes an architect truly adaptable. Section 3. The early web days. To really see this adaptable philosophy in action, we have to flash back to the early 2000s, the dawn of the interactive web. This rapid-fire timeline shows his foundational years working as a hands-on web developer. Back in 2002, he was building Zamalek.tv, which was a news site for a major sporting club in Egypt, using the classic LAMP stack, so Linux, Apache, PHP, and MySQL. A year later, he's at United Academy, building education systems, using ASP.NET and SQL Server. Moving from stylish site to tech heights, he was deep in the trenches, building and maintaining platforms entirely from scratch. He was learning exactly how systems are built from the ground up.
Section 4. Scaling to enterprise systems.
Now, as the internet matured, the systems required to run it became vastly more complex, and the stakes got a whole lot higher. Take a look at his time at HP, starting in 2011. He was a team leader building SADA2, this massive bill payment gateway in Saudi Arabia that integrated banks and billers using IBM WebSphere and service-oriented architecture. Then, jump over to SciT Global, where he was the senior technical lead restructuring Vericash. This was a hugely complex, distributed system creating a B2B marketplace that connected banks, money processors, and billers all over the world. It relied on heavy-duty integration tech like Mule ESB and ActiveMQ. That is literally the digital plumbing that allows entirely different financial institutions to instantly talk to each other. The architectural complexity here is just on a completely different planet compared to a standard website.
But what does all that complex architecture actually achieve? It solves very real-world problems. Take the Billins Pay project he architected for a client in Nigeria. It takes a dizzying amount of enterprise integration and simplifies it into a super accessible payment flow. Billers, especially the smaller ones like local schools who might not even use computerized accounting, simply upload their bills. The solution bridges the gap between them and the big payment gateways, letting the payees easily search and pay. He even spent months on site leading the Ube Bank implementation in Nigeria to make sure this whole complex scheme worked perfectly in the real world.
Section 5, the Cloud and Microservices Era.
Fast forward to recent years, and enterprise computing goes through another massive transformation. This contrast right here is the defining challenge of the modern tech era. We're talking about migrating from huge, clunky, legacy monolithic applications over to agile, cloud-based microservices architectures. Honestly, it's a lot like trying to rebuild an airplane while you are currently flying it, and Ahmed tackled this head-on during his time as a senior technical architect at ITWorks and later at Al Rajhi Bank.
While at ITWorks, which is a major software service provider across EMEA and the Americas, he wasn't just coding anymore. He was leading complete digital transformations. He led the launch team for WE Telecom's portals and apps. He helped design a project for the Abu Dhabi government. But perhaps the coolest part, he led a team that transformed Syngenta's bioinformatics systems, moving them from old legacy monolithic setups straight into the future on the AWS cloud. He was in charge of designing continuous integration and deployment pipelines, reviewing high and low-level designs, and really governing the whole implementation process.
He then took all that heavy-hitting cloud expertise directly into the banking sector at Al Rajhi Bank, leading the team in migrating legacy apps into a modern cloud-based microservices architecture. And right alongside that, he drove the incredibly critical migration of Swift messages, moving from the old MT standard over to the new, highly data-rich Swift MX standard. This specific move is a perfect example of his capability in handling global financial messaging, where dropping even a single packet of data is just straight up unacceptable.
Section 6, a foundation of mastery.
You know, to consistently maintain this level of adaptability over 20 years, you really need an incredible foundation of knowledge. This breakdown of his certifications completely proves his mastery across all the domains we've been talking about. He holds the TOGAF 9 certification for enterprise architecture. He has serious cloud credentials with the AWS Machine Learning and Deep Learning program. He is an Oracle Java EE6 Enterprise Architect Certified Master and holds a whole suite of Microsoft and other Java credentials too. He didn't just learn as he went. He actively sought out the highest levels of formal certification out there.
And all that intense professional training is fully backed up by his academic background. He earned his master's in computer science in 2014, following a diploma from the Arab Academy for Science, Technology, and Maritime Transport. This really cements that deep theoretical understanding, which perfectly complements his decades of hands-on, enterprise-level experience.
So, we've just mapped out a career that spans all the way from simple LAMP stack websites to managing billion-dollar Swift MX migrations in the cloud. It's an incredible evolution, and it was all made possible by an absolute, unwavering focus on the underlying architecture. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to hopefully inspire your own long-term evolution, whatever field you happen to tackle next. As technology continues to shift beneath your feet, are you just mastering the tools, or are you mastering the concepts? Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer, and we will see you on the next one.